Hey, fight fans, thanks for joining us and welcome to The Weigh-In, the show that spotlights the latest MMA bouts and the topics surrounding the sport. I'm Dorian, Mr. MMA Hernandez, and with me as always is Nathan Tyrone.
And today we're going to bring to you UFC Fight Night Holloway Oliviera, which takes place Saturday, August 22nd in Saskatoon, Canada. Man, and this is a packed card, so we're going to have a lot of fights to talk about. Take it away, Mr. MMA.
All right, and we're going to start with the prelims. It's going to be in the flyweight division. It's going to be the fight of the Chris's. It's going to be Chris, the Greek assassin, Coladas, versus Chris, the real deal, Beal. Let's start with Coladas first. He's 8-2 in his overall professional MMA career, but in the UFC is 1-1 with one fight of the night bonus. Yeah. All right, his last loss was in February of this year by submission to Ray Borg.
Right.
Let's talk about Beal. He's the first male pick for Ronda Rousey in the Ultimate Fighter Season 18. In his professional MMA career, he's 10-1, but is 2-1 in the UFC with one performance of the night bonus under his belt.
Right.
He had a 2-fight winning streak snapped this year in January by unanimous decision to Neil Seery.
Right.
My weigh-in, I'm going to go with Beal. Coladas is a well-rounded fighter, but Beal is an exceptional striker who will keep this fight standing. And I ultimately wouldn't be surprised if he wins it by KO or TKO and pulls another bonus, post-fight bonus.
Right, and Coladas is an exceptional striker, and he's got decent submissions if he can take you down, but really he doesn't have good takedowns, so it's kind of paradoxical in that way with his skill set. He is a growing fighter and he needs to grow, and Beal is really good in his hands, really good on his feet, fast, he's more accurate than Coladas, and I'm going to have to agree with Mr. MMA. I think Beal's going to have his hand in the air with this one as well.
All right, next in the prelims is going to be in the light heavyweight division. It's going to have Marcos Pesao, Rogerio de Lima.
Say that
3
Jesus.
times real fast. Yeah.
All
right, versus Nikita Al Capone Krylov. Let's start with De Lima first. De Lima is a Strikeforce acquisition who competed in the Ultimate Fighter Brazil Season 3 for Team Sonnen.
Right.
He is 13-3-1 in his overall professional MMA career, but is 2-0 in the UFC.
Right.
Both wins by TKO, one in the heavyweight division, one in the light heavyweight division, and is now making his second appearance in the light heavyweight division this Saturday. Krylov is 18-4 in his overall professional MMA career, but 3-2 in the UFC, riding a 2-fight win streak at present. All wins in the finish and in the first round, 2 TKOs, 1 submission. That last win coming in January of this year.
Right.
My weigh-in ultimately, De Lima. No matter where this fight goes, whether it be standing or whether it be on the ground, De Lima is the bigger out of these two fighters.
Well,
and, not to judge a book by its cover, but I've seen these guys fight. Krylov is going to be in for a painful evening.
Yeah, well, I think that both of these fighters need a lot of development if they're really going to be contenders. I don't think that either of these fighters are quite ready to call themselves contenders. And, they're well matched. I think that Krylov has had better matchups in the past. He's got some good submissions, but he's really sloppy and his cardio really sucks. And, Lima, he's strong with his hands, but he's got horrible technique. The guy is sloppy as hell. So I don't think this is going to be a highly technical battle, but I do think that Krylov's experience with more experienced fighters will end up paving the way to a victory for Krylov. So I'm going to disagree with Mr. MMA and say Nikita Krylov for the win.
Next on the card is going to be in the bantamweight division. It's going to have Yves Tiger Jabbar versus Felipe Sertanejo Arantes. Okay, let's start with Jabbar first. He's a WEC crossover. Is 20-9 in his professional MMA career, but is 5-4 in the UFC with one fight of the night bonus under his belt.
Right.
His last loss was in April of this year by TKO to Thomas Almeida in the first round. I predicted that fight.
Yeah.
Let's go with Arantes. Arantes is 16-7-1 with 2 no contests in his professional MMA career, but is 3-3-1 in the UFC. His record is pretty much like a roller coaster, with his last loss in October of last year by unanimous decision to Andre Fili. My weigh-in, Jabbar. Both fighters' careers are extremely erratic, but Jabbar has more experience with more top-tier competition, and I think you couple that with his hunger to get back into the win column, and I see him getting his hand raised on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Jabbar is fast, and he's good all around. He's got really fast hands and really good defense, both standing and takedown D. I think that Arantes, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, excuse me, like you said, he's kind of hot and cold. He runs hot and cold, not really predictable. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got excellent submissions when he can whip them on you, but he's just not consistent enough to really, for me to feel comfortable weighing in with him. So I'm going to weigh in with Jabbar as well.
All right, and next on this card is the fight that I'm really looking forward to, and it's a shame that it's on the prelims, but it's going to be in the lightweight division. It's going to have Sam, the Hands of Stone Stout, versus Frankie Perez.
Yeah.
Let's start with Stout. He's a highly decorated striker with 6 Fight of the Night bonuses, one knockout of the night bonus.
That's right.
Okay, he's had a rocky UFC career with 9-10.
Yeah.
Okay, never getting a win streak over 2. Is presently riding a 2-fight losing streak, both those losses by TKO, with that last loss in March of this year to Ross Pearson. All right, let's go with Perez. Perez is 9-2 in his overall professional MMA career, but is 0-1 in the UFC, losing his debut in January of this year by TKO to Johnny Hollywood Case.
That's right.
Predicted that one too.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Just MMA, follow him.
But my way in, I'm going to go with Stout. Even with 10 losses in his career, okay, this man has never been finished. Only 4 of those 10 finishes, 4 of those 10 losses were finishes. One of them was in 2006 by submission to Kenny Florian, and almost 7 years later, the man does not get finished again until James Krause comes along and submits him in 2013. The other 2 finished losses were the aforementioned 2 TKO losses that he's riding on that 2-fight losing streak at present. But ultimately, I think this fight was given to Frankie Perez to prove himself. Also for Stout to prove that he still deserves to be on the roster. But this is going to be too big of a jump in competition for Perez. And I see Stout getting his hand raised in the win.
Yeah, Sam Stout, though not as consistent as we'd like to see in our fighters, he is a powerhouse, finishing his wins by 50 percentile knockout. So you don't want to really mess with Sam Stout on the feet, but I think that's exactly what's going to happen because his takedown defense is sweet, and Perez is going to have to take him down. Perez is going to have to take him down because he's no contest on it. He can't hang with Stout on his feet.
Not with a guy with his hands of stone.
He can't do it. And so he's going to have to take him down. He's going to have a tough time doing that because Stout's got good takedown defense. I don't so much think that this is one of the better matchups on the card, but I think it's going to be fun to watch. I think these guys are going to be slinging it. I think that Perez is going to be hungry. He's going to show you why he deserves to be on this card, and it's going to be a very exciting fight. But I'm going to have to weigh in with Sam Stout also.
All right, folks, and that's the end of the prelims, and now on to the main card. And what a way to start it out with a women's strawweight division fight with the number 7 ranked Marina Iron Lady Moraes versus Valerie Trouble Letourneau. Let's start with Moraes first. She's 6-0 in her overall professional MMA career, but in the UFC is 1-0. That first win coming with a performance of the night bonus.
90 seconds.
All of her wins have been by finish, 5 submissions, 1 TKO. All of those wins, all but one of those wins were in the first round as well. Her last one came in April of this year by submission over Joanne Calderon. Okay, Letourneau is 7-3 in her overall professional MMA career. Those 3 losses only came to top 10 competition. The number 5 ranked Sarah Kaufman, the number 3 ranked Alexis Davis, and the presently number 1 ranked Claudia Gadella in the strawweight division. But in the UFC, Letourneau is 1-0, right? Won her debut this year in April by unanimous decision over Jessica Rakoczy. My weigh-in, I'm going to go with Moraes. I'm using the force on this one, but I've got to go with a ranked fighter over a non-ranked fighter. There's a reason why we got these rankings. Sometimes you can't hold on to them like they're a Bible or something set in stone to really, set the bar or understand why there's a ranked versus the unranked. But no matter what, the difference between these girls are definitely night and day, and I see Moraes getting her hand won. Raised. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Moraes is fast. She is lightning fast for a fighter her size, and well, I guess they're supposed to be fast. And she's growing. She's impressively growing. If you followed her with her other in other shows and other promotions, you know that she grows in every single fight. And that 90-second victory in her last match was nothing short of very impressive. Now, Letourneau, she's a tough fighter also, and her growth rate seems to be a little more staggered. But I think the big difference between Letourneau and Moraes is speed. I think Letourneau moves quite literally, half as fast. She lands her strikes half as fast as Moraes. Now, I think statistically this is the case. You can look it up, kids. And that's going to be the nail in the coffin. You can't, Moraes is going to see her moving in slow motion for the most part. And so I just don't think the competition is going to be, that Letourneau is going to have the competition that she needs to have to handle Moraes' speed and accuracy. And so I'm going to weigh in with Moraes as well. All
right, next on the card is going to be a nice fight. It's in the lightweight division. It has Oliviera, the Quebec kid, Auburn Mercier. I love saying his name. 'Cause that's it, right? Versus Tony Sims.
Yes.
All right, first let me let you guys know that first on this card was supposed to be Chris Wade versus Auburn Mercier, but it got changed last minute to Tony Sims. Let's start with Auburn Mercier. He is 7-1 in his overall professional MMA career, but is 2-1 in the UFC with one performance of the night bonus under his belt. Yeah. His loss in the Ultimate Fighter Nations finale for Team Canada definitely, set him back, but he has definitely improved by leaps and bounds from there, and is presently riding a 2-fight win streak, with his last win coming in April of this year by submission over David McCall.
Right.
I picked that one too.
This guy is
okay.
Mr. MMA.
Let's go with Sims, man. 12-2 in his overall professional MMA career, but is 1-0 in the UFC. Won his debut in the first round TKO over Steve Montgomery in June of this year.
That's right.
He's also a 7-time Iowa State boxing champion. My weigh-in, Auburn Mercier. Yeah. He is durable and so strong that I basically see him smothering Tony Sims either into submission or into unanimous decision victory. This one is going to be a very lopsided fight.
Well, I think it's a little more competitive than some of the cards. Definitely some of the, some of the fights. Definitely some of the fights on the prelim, the earlier parts of the prelim. I think it's a little more competitive than that. I do think that Mercier is a well-rounded fighter, heavy on the hands, great on the stand-up, decent takedowns, and Sims is super strong. He's heavy puncher, but he can't really compete technically on the ground, and so I'm going to have to weigh in with Mercier as well. I just don't see Sims being able to pull it off, even though I do think they are a little more evenly matched than other fighters on the card.
All right. We got another fight in the lightweight division coming up next. It's going to have Chad, the disciple Laprise, versus Francisco Masurundaba Ronaldo.
Right.
Okay, let's start with Laprise. He's 11-0 in his professional MMA career, but is 3-0 in the UFC with one fight of the night bonus under his belt. Tough kid. He was the Ultimate Fighter Nations finale winner for Team Canada. Yeah. Okay, and is presently riding a 2-fight win streak, both by unanimous decision. Yeah. Ronaldo is 17-4 in his overall professional MMA career, but is 7-3 in the UFC. That's right. Presently riding a 3-fight win streak, all unanimous decisions, and is the largest win streak in his UFC career. Yeah. My weigh-in, I'm going to go with Laprise. This is going to be mainly a stand-up fight with 3 key points being the difference. It has to be footwork, variation, and spacing. Right. As long as Laprise can follow those 3 things and put them together beautifully, this is his chance to get his hand raised.
I agree, and that you couldn't have said it better. Footwork, spacing, and variation, that's what's going to do it for him, because technically I really believe that Ronaldo is a little outclassed on his feet, and I don't think he's that much better matched on the ground. As I was saying, this is not one of the better matchups in comparison to even the Stout matchup. I would have
put Stout and Perez up on the main card and put these 2 guys
really,
down,
that's really what I think should have happened.
If it wasn't for the fact that Priest is on a 3-fight win streak. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I think should have happened, and it didn't. I think that the numbers tell you things that the fighters don't actually do. Sometimes numbers and statistics can be skewed in any way to make something look that it's not. And I do not think that Ronaldo he's out of his depth. He's not ready for this, and I think that Laprise is going to just whip his ass. He's going to stomp all over him. It's going to be beautiful massacre, I think.
I like that. Beautiful massacre. All right. Next is going to be in the welterweight division. We have Patrick, the Predator Cote, going against Josh, the People's Warrior, Berkman.
Raise your hand.
Let's go with Cote. Cote is 22-9 in his overall professional MMA career, but is 8-9 in the UFC with 2 knockout of the night bonuses under his belt. Absolutely. He's had a roller coaster of a UFC career. Started with a 4-fight losing streak, went on a 5-fight winning streak. One of those wins was actually in another company, but still part of the win streak.
That's right.
Then went on a 4-fight losing streak to come back on a 3-fight winning streak. And at present has only won 4 out of his last 5 fights. Right. Okay, Berkman is 28-11 with 1 no contest in his overall professional MMA career. That 1 no contest was a loss that was overturned to because Hector it was a TKO loss to Hector Lombard, but Hector Lombard failed his post-fight drug test. If you check out our PED Truth About section, we talk about it more and further. But Lombard came up dirty for desosylmethyltestosterone. That ended up that loss getting turned into a no contest. Berkman has 1 fight of the night bonus under his belt and is presently riding a 4-fight losing streak, which would have been 5 if it wasn't for the aforementioned no contest that we're in. Okay. My way in, I'm going to have to go with Cote.
Yeah.
This fight should have been ultimately on the prelims as well. I don't really see this being a slobber knocker or an exciting fight.
Right.
It's going to drag itself out, and what's even worse is that if the evening has some form of high pace to it, this fight might actually even drag it down.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
Cote being the predator in quite some time. The man has still got a great chin and great
Right.
head because he can swallow punches with the best of them and still keep coming at you.
That's right.
But I just don't see Berkman pulling this out, and I wouldn't be surprised if Berkman's released after Cote defeats him on this one.
Oh, you heard it here first, kids. Follow Mr. MMA and know the truth about the situation. Listen, I agree 100% with what Mr. MMA said. I think that Cote, at best, fair description, is an average UFC fighter. I mean, he's shown some development, but not for the length of time he's been in the promotion. Now, Berkman, I think that, again, not the greatest matchup here. He's in too deep. And I agree with Mr. MMA. Berkman's going to have to pay Cote. He's going to have hell Cote to pay, whatever it is.
Yep.
But I weigh in with Patrick Cote.
All right. And now on to our co-main event of the evening, folks. And this fight is definitely one of those that I'm looking forward to.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be in the welterweight division. It's going to have the number 15 ranked Magny versus Erick Silva.
Yeah.
Let's start with Magny first. Magny is 15-5 in his overall professional MMA career, but in the UFC is 8-3 with 2 performance of the night bonuses under his belt.
Yeah.
Okay, he was on a 7-fight win streak, but that win streak was snapped in August of this year by Damian Maia.
Yeah.
And on the UFC 190 prelims, as a matter of fact,
That's
so
right.
August 1st.
That's right.
And I didn't predict that one. I went for Magny on that one. But let's go with Silva. Silva is 18-5 with 1 no contest in his overall professional MMA career, but is 6-4 in the UFC.
Right.
Has 2 submission of the nights, 2 performance of the nights, and 2 fight of the night bonuses under his belt.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and is presently riding a 2-fight winning streak, which is the largest in his UFC career. My way in, though, I'm going to have to go with Silva. I like Magny and I like Silva.
Absolutely.
I think that both of them will be
Absolutely.
contenders one day. But ultimately, you know, like the quote in the old movie, The Highlander, there can be only one.
That's right.
And if I have to choose which one it's going to be, I see Erick Silva getting his hand raised. I think Magny's coming back too quickly off that loss with Maia and trying to avenge himself.
Yeah.
And the jump to Silva, even though Silva's not ranked, is going to be too big for him.
And I agree. You know, I think that this is going to be one of the fights, this fight and the fight that follows it, that really makes up for any weak points in the card. Magny is young, he's strong, he's fast, he's confident, and he is he's growing with leaps and bounds, and so is Silva. Silva, I believe, is a little more tougher. He's got a little more technique honed than Magny, but this is going to be one hell of a fight, and it's the kind of fight that fight fans love fights for, and I can't wait to see it. But I'm going to have to weigh in against Magny, though my heart breaks to do it, and say that Silva will walk away with his hand in the air.
Hey, sorry, Magny, man.
Yeah, it's a fight game.
All right, well, and on to the meatiest part of the card, the main event. Another slobber knocker right after another.
That's right.
Okay, it's going to be in the featherweight division. It's going to have the number 5 ranked Max Blessed Holloway versus the number 7 ranked Charles Dubronx Oliviera.
Wow.
All right, let's go with Holloway first.
Yeah.
13-3 in his overall professional MMA career, but is 9-3 in the UFC.
Yeah.
1 knockout of the night, 2 performance of the night bonuses under his belt.
That's right.
Is riding at present a 6-fight winning streak since his loss to McGregor in August of 2013.
Yeah.
That last win coming in April of this year by submission over Cub Swanson.
That's right.
Okay, Oliviera is 20-4 with 1 no contest in his overall professional MMA career, but is 8-4 with 1 no contest in the UFC. 3 submission of the nights, 3 performance of the nights, and 3 fight of the night bonuses under his belt. That's a lot of money right there, okay?
Is.
And is presently riding a 3-fight win streak. No, I'm sorry, correction. Riding a 4-fight win streak. 3 out of those 4 wins earning bonuses.
Yeah.
My way in ultimately, though, I'm going to go with Holloway. It's hard to really choose a winner in this fight. Height won't make a difference. The reach is actually 5-inch reach. It seems to be in the advantage of Oliviera, but I think it's going to be more shown as far as the advantage if Oliviera uses more kicks in his striking. That's one thing that him and Holloway have a lot of difference on. Oliviera will use kicks and punches to mix up his variation.
Yeah.
Holloway tends to use more of his fists. But every time I've seen a fight where Holloway looks like he has the reach disadvantage, the way he strikes, the way his footwork, he ends up looking like the person who has the advantage.
Right.
And I don't see how he couldn't do anything different with Oliviera. This is definitely going to be a stand-up fight unless Oliviera tries to take it to the ground. But I really don't see that happening.
Yeah.
And if it stays standing, I think Holloway will pull out the victory.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is going to be a hell of a fight. This matchup is incredible for these young up-and-comers. I mean, I love to watch Max Holloway. He's young, he's fast, he's accurate, he's full of fight, and he's creative in his striking game. And Oliviera is just amazing as well. You heard Mr. MMA rattle off the list of bonuses that's filled his pocket since his time in the UFC. And he's got great jiu-jitsu and incredible submissions. And, you know, to take it back to what we're talking about, statistically, if you look at the numbers alone, it looks like Oliviera should not have too much of a hard time with Max Holloway. But Max Holloway has that something that a fighter really wants, something that a fighter yearns to develop and hone, and that is this preternatural, uncanny cage awareness. At all times, Max Holloway has the gift of awareness in the cage where he knows where his body is in position to his opponents. It's a fascinating and beautiful thing to watch because he makes the violence that he throws out look so artistic because of his incredible cage awareness. He knows where he's at all times and can land strikes from anywhere. He's an amazing fighter, even though statistically, if you look at the numbers, some might say, hey, he's going to get beat to Oliviera. No way, not happening. And I'm going to go with Holloway with his hand in the air, too. My way in, Holloway.
All right, fight fans, those are our predictions for you for the fight night. Let us know what you think, and ultimately follow me on Twitter at the Weigh-In MMA. I'm always tweeting and keeping up on the events, and I always respond back. Let us know what you think. Let us know who your predictions are for this event.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, Mr. MMA live tweets during every fight card that we announce. And so go to the Weigh-In MMA on your Facebook at the Weigh-In MMA. Tweet us, live tweet with Mr. MMA, and follow him. Enjoy it, man. Our crowds are growing, and we want to thank all of our supporters so much because viewership is growing in the short time, and we've got a lot of stuff coming for you. We're going to change up some production, and we want to bring you the entertainment that you want to see about the fights that you want to watch. So thanks for watching, and go ahead and click down there, subscribe for us, and support us in doing what we're trying to do for you, okay? Thanks for watching The Weigh-In, and we'll see you next time.